All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in today. I have my good buddy Ben Bobo here, and look, Ben is absolutely incredible. Has an incredible company, Retriever Medical. You guys are going to absolutely be blown away by the knowledge that Ben has in the health industry and just overall. And me and Ben have known each other now for, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, give or take at this point. He came into the Wealth Circle, he came into the Capital Unlock program, and he's blown me away with not only how involved he is, but by his business and what he's doing and the money he's looking to raise and the connections that he's making. So Ben, thanks for jumping on for 15, 20 minutes or so here today. If you could introduce yourself a little bit, give us a little background about Retriever, that would be great. Retriever Medical, I want to hear more about it. And so does everyone else. That would be phenomenal.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Nick. Excited to be here. So I'm the founder of Retriever Medical. It's a medical device company that's solving one of the biggest gaps in mechanical thrombectomy, which is the removal of full spectrum clot. We're focused specifically on pulmonary embolism, which is clots in the lungs, and deep vein thrombosis, which is clots in the legs. And the problem with most FDA 510K approved devices is it doesn't remove all the clot in a single session. It leaves clot behind, which is a big problem. We've spent the last few years in R&D. We've secured 17 patents, 181 issued claims. We have 5 peer-reviewed studies. We have a bona fide 510K pathway with recent validation from a medical device strategic. We went head-to-head with the market leader and blew them away in terms of the removal of the most chronic, toughest clot you can remove from the body. So we were really excited about that to show the superior performance. And then we're currently, as Nick alluded to, raising 15 million Series A to finalize development, regulatory clearance, and expand clinical deployment with hospital systems that are already in our pipeline. Before joining Capital Unlocked, I'll be honest, we had a great product, but our capital raise strategy lacked a lot of structure. And once I applied Nick's WAR framework, working backward from the investor, architecting a professional deal and running the process with discipline, really everything changed. So now we're in active investor discussions with multiple groups, looking at our data room, and the process feels in control, and it's really been a game changer, Nick.
I love that. I appreciate that. And thank you for that, because you've been instrumental as well in the program and how involved you are with everybody, and everyone just loves and respects you and everything you post in the network and everything else. So we appreciate that. But jumping back to Retriever for a second, Ben, you've been in this industry for a while. What's exciting you the most right now about working with these medical devices and what you've been doing? What's the most exciting part for you when it comes to Retriever Medical?
Yeah, I got into medical devices on the front end really to help people. I did a number of things up to the point where I got into medical devices, but once I sort of crossed that line, for me, the biggest joy was the impact on the outcomes with people getting the surgical procedures, seeing people get better, having a better quality of life, and then seeing their family members being able to enjoy, quite frankly, their presence for years to come. Because I'm dealing with cardiothoracic, I'm dealing with vasculature, I'm dealing with disease states that are really deadly to patients. So the idea that you can fix the problem therapeutically and give patients a whole new lease on life, quite frankly, is probably the most rewarding aspect of being in medical devices for me.
Yeah, and it's such a huge industry, and what you're doing is so incredible. What kind of partnerships have you either developed already, or what partnerships would be the most critical to help, whether it's hospitals or research institutions? What would it actually be? Regulatory bodies, things like that. What would really help the company continue to grow and get out there even more than it already is?
Yeah, right now, the number one partnership we're looking for is the financial, getting with investors that see the vision, that catch the vision. Because as you've always said, capital fuels growth. It's the oxygen for a business. So that's really step one in our next phase. We've got a great group of people in the regulatory side, intellectual property side. Shout out to Cooley. They're not only our corporate attorney, but our IP attorney. We've got this incredible stable of developers and designers. We've outsourced this right now to third-party people. So we really have the right structure in place to really execute, to get us through product development, through regulatory, and into the market. So really right now on the front end, we're just looking to close in that Series A 15 million to really fuel basically the strategy we have in place, the timelines we've identified, and to get this sort of over the regulatory hurdles.
Right. And what you're doing, it's niche. It's niched out, right? So you have to find the right investors, whether they're institutional or just high net worth individuals. So what have you been doing recently, Ben? And I know you've gotten a lot of traction over the past month, 2 months, as you've kind of changed your messaging and you've worked on a lot of things. Talk to me about what you've changed, and what is working as far as the traction you're getting. What kind of traction are you having right now?
Well, I think the thing that, again, let me go back to analogy. It's like if you said, "Hey Ben, I want you to fly to Florida, come visit me in Boca Raton, and I have time in a 172 Cessna, right?" And then you say, "Hey Ben, there's a jet you can rent, over in Las Vegas. Once you like bomb over here," and I have no experience in a jet. Well, logic sort of follows that you need to have experience, you need training, you need that instructor pilot, that experienced person to really give you the, equip you to fly that jet. So I think
Right,
in joining Wealth Circle, for me, the biggest shift was realizing we're not asking for money. We're
right,
inviting aligned partners into a high impact, high clarity opportunity. And that's really what you've taught from day one, which again, I raised 48 million up to this point, but you gave us a structure and way to look at things. So we're at an equal frame position with the investor. And I think most founders pitch potential. We started pitching to, again, with your program, proof and structure, right? And that's when serious investors started leading in from my experience. And so as a result of applying your principles, now I'm in these really robust conversation with family offices. And we're talking to family, and I can't go into a lot of detail, but we're talking about a situation where we're talking billions under management, literally billions. And they have a mandate not only for, when you look at carbon credits or you look at the environment, those sorts of things, that's absolutely part of their mandate, but also it relates to medical devices and the overall well-being of people. So it's sort of lined up, the stars lined up, and I came across this group. And again, how did I do it? I employed your principles of getting out there, reaching out through my Rolodex, really connecting with people. And we're what, five people removed from the President of the United States,
yeah,
basically. So it was that principle. I went into my Rolodex. I started reaching out on my LinkedIn, people I knew, and one begot and led to the other. So all of a sudden now I'm in these conversations with a family office, that the numbers that they're dealing with are just mind-boggling, but they're also fast and efficient. I mean, this is a process that could probably close this year. Um,
yes,
but again, it's a mindset shift because you could say, "Hey, Ben, you come across confident. You seem to know what you're talking about." But let me tell you, and you know this better than anybody, when you keep hearing no's and you keep
mm,
hitting the wall, sometimes self-doubt can creep in. And one of the
oh,
big lessons out of Wealth Circle is you just got to have, that perspective, like, why not be happy all the time? I mean, we're making choices every day, and a no is just
right.
a yes down the road, and a no just refined my approach. It gave me motivation to say, wait a minute, I'm not doing something right. And that's what led me to join your group, because through the 7 weeks, pretty focused, how do you raise money? There's pearls of wisdoms that you provided that helped me just continue to improve my game. And that's the thing is, that's what I say to anybody, always have that mindset, keep improving your game.
And I appreciate you the way you, and again, I want to focus on Retriever more, but I appreciate how you have come in, or how you did come in the beginning months ago, and you had an open mind to learn some of these strategies. And what's incredible about the people are people like yourselves that have done incredible things in your life. I mean, you've built companies, you've raised a lot of money before, you've done some incredible things, and the people in the network also are just like you. Like, it blows me away at how incredible the people are in our network and how people like yourselves come in and just add to it. And I know you've had relationships that have been built within the Wealth Circle already, and I'm sure there's going to be a bunch more as time continues to go. So I appreciate that from you. I've learned things from you as well. So it's funny how that all works out. So I appreciate that very much.
Sure.
Definitely. Um, so we're raising 15 million for a Series A round. And again, this is not a solicitation to raise capital. It's more for education. But you said you reached out to your network, which you maybe were or were not doing previously. What changed? Like what I know that the way you're reaching out to people has changed. Your messaging has changed. The way you're wording things have changed. What was the big unlock or aha for you in that aspect?
Well, I think for me is it was like I got to put the momentum and the action to reaching out to investors, because you have this incredible framework of how to do it, but ultimately the most important thing is actually doing it and reaching out to the investors that want to invest. So
Right.
once I sort of clicked with that, for me, I stopped over explaining the tech and started leading with what investors care about. Again, what you talk about, which is the market size, a defensible moats, and a clean path to liquidity. One of the things I'll tell you, one of the epiphanies I learned in this is a lot of times people say, well, what's the use of funds? And you kind of flip the script where you say, well, wait a minute, as opposed to say, 40% of the 15 is going here and 28 is going here. What investors are interested in is what is the capital unlock? So when I started changing that framework in my mind, once I got access to those conversations, I
Yeah.
started thinking more like the investor. And as you said, why would they invest in me? Like, there's a lot of things they can spend their time and money on. Why my deal? And so that was one of the changes I made. And then I run, our investor calls like Capital Unlock teaches, right? Where you say, I set the frame, I qualify the fit, I try to keep control of the energy throughout. And I think the investors feel the difference immediately because I'm not coming at it like begging, please, I need the money, man. It's
Right.
really from an equal frame mindset. And that's really incredible because really, I'm offering them an opportunity to change the face of how patients are treated
Yeah.
worldwide
Yeah.
versus like, man, I'm on the corner with a can out asking for 5 cents. So it's really a mindset shift. And look, as they say in the Bible, I guess, iron sharpeneth iron.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going to keep plugging you, Nick, because you come in with a lot of experience, with a lot of calm, and you also share things over time at the appropriate pace and timing. And you can't begin to realize how important that is for us people trying to raise capital to have a mentor figure that comes in with clarity and confidence that bleeds over what I'm doing. So I give you a lot of credit for that because the framework,
Thank you.
the messaging gives me a clarity and a confidence when I'm going into these conversations that I feel like I actually have a structure I can lean against to be successful in this capital raise.
Have you noticed a shift, a change in when you're actually speaking to not only the reach out, how you're finding them and talking to them, but when you're actually in a meeting, whether it's on the phone or whether it's in a Zoom or in person, have you noticed a change in the way that your framework and how you're able to carry yourself differently and actually not over talk, but actually and hit the right points that they want to hear? Has that helped?
1,000%. I mean, in fact, it's very efficient both on the email side and in the conversation side. It's very clear, very focused. And I think the biggest thing I've learned in my life is over prepare, right? So anytime I'm going to that conversation, if it's a new family office, I want to research as much as I can about the
Right.
office, the people, and then sort of understand kind of what their framework is, what motivates their investment. And that way, when I'm in there, I can sort of tease that into my conversation. But 100%, Nick. I mean, I think the difference is, and you've taught this, investors have a certain language and they can tell when you're a neophyte and an amateur
Yeah.
versus a skilled, experienced capital raiser. And that's what I'd say is the program with Will Circle gives you those tools and that structure. So absolutely, when I'm talking to these people now, it's a different, how do I say it? I go back to equal framing, but you just feel like you're peer to peer and they receive
Right.
me that way and they take it seriously. Whereas other times they'll be nice and kind and then they just ghost you, quite frankly.
Right. And when you do that, you notice they react to you differently. They talk to you differently. They look at you differently. They react to what you're saying, your deal, what you're putting in front of them very, very differently, right? You've noticed that.
Yeah, let me go back. One of the things I forgot to mention is you have, I'm trying to think of the word. So I have a framework when I go and talk to people, and it's like a 2-minute investor manifesto.
Right.
So in that 2 minute, that's one of the most powerful things I learned. I can give them a Cliff Note version of the opportunity. And what I do, and one of the things you flip the script on, is I'd send them my deck. Mine's about 16 slides, which isn't too bad. And then I'd follow up with a call. And I wouldn't actually walk through the deck. I'd go through the investor manifesto, hearing it from me. And that to me is one of the most powerful tools in this thing because you're not wasting their time and you're also letting them know we're going to get right to the opportunity so you can hear it and reflect on it. And then you ask the most important question, in essence, is this the right fit? Is this the right alignment with what you invest in typically? So I can't underscore that one element in your program, Nick, because that one thing really changed the dynamic. And I used it with the family office. And I think what they appreciated was I'm not wasting their time with a bunch of
Right.
verbal whatever, right?
And you're getting a response from them, and hopefully it starts moving forward. I mean, obviously they have the capital to deploy. Now it's just getting it over the line to them. They obviously like the deal, and I think from here on out, I'm going to get more details from you offline, so to speak. But from here on out, it's figuring out how you're going to be able to fit into what they need at this point.
Well,
You
we're
know, if they
already in
have
an engagement agreement with this group, and they already
amazing.
outlined their process. I mean, it's like bing, bing, bing. And by the 22nd of this month, they're already in review looking to the financial, the legal, and then their words, not mine, deployment of capital. Not to get ahead of myself,
Yes.
but
Yes.
and one of the guys before I met with the main guy at this family office said, he said, listen, this thing will probably close mid-November. We move very fast. It's like, and again, Nick, I don't react to it. It's like data in my brain, and
Correct.
good to know. By the way, I also had a conversation last week with another family office, again through my outreach to my Rolodex. And it's funny because I thought I was talking to Nick in his response to my outreach, because he was clear, bottom line, specific. And so I came back with the same framework. And guess what happened? He said, let's set up a call. And I set up a call. And now he's in the data room. We have an NDA in place. He's going through the data room. He's got capital to deploy. He's got about 30 million in his fund, but also he's got a family office in the UK that's actively looking to invest in medical device companies. So there's another one. And all I'd say, Nick, is once you get one that kind of gives you that confidence and that feedback, like
Yeah.
they're responding to me, all of a sudden the next one, it's like a dominoes. It just they start to
They
stack up
fall in
and
place.
start to fall over. Yes.
It's so true. It's so, man, I commend you. It's awesome. You're putting in the work. You've been putting in the work, and it's paying off. And hopefully things go well. And we talk about this, right? We talk about, hey, when things like this happen that are so good, celebrate for 2 seconds, don't get excited, and then go right back to work. Because you can get excited when the money hits the account. Before that, we never get excited, right? So
Right.
I'm excited for you, though, just to see the process continue to move forward, because I know you're just an inch away from getting what you need to then the real work starts once you get the capital, right? Because that's
Right.
when the real work starts. So um, Ben, anything else you want to say about Retriever? If I could, I mean, I love what you're doing. It's incredible that you have the knowledge you have in the space, and how you're going to be able to help change and help people's lives in a very incredible way. So anything else that you want to close out on Retriever, I would love to hear.
Yeah, I just say that what we've done is what no one else has been able to do. And again, the big issue, if you present to the hospital with clots in your lungs or clots in your legs, could you imagine going to the hospital, going through a procedure where they put catheters in your body through your lung and through your heart to remove clot, but they don't remove all the clot?
Right.
Or in your legs that'll remove all the clot. And what we now have for the first time is a device that will remove all of the clot in a single
Mm.
session the first time. And so everything else doesn't do that. So that's what we're trying to do at Retriever Medical. We've already demonstrated with a major medical device strategic as compared to the market leader. So we've gotten incredible validation, and you can see the results of that on my website at rtvmed.com. That's Romeo Tango Victor med.com. You'll see the video of the porcine study we completed. But that's what drives us at Retriever Medical. We're excited about changing the outcomes of patients that come in for these procedures. As simple as that.
Yeah.
And if you get this on the market, that's the win for us.
Love it. And look, I look forward to seeing you here in a few weeks. We have a private dinner we're doing with investors, and Ben's coming in, and a bunch of other people from the program, and venture capitalists and private equity guys, and family office people. We have some just incredible wealth managers are going to be there. So it's going to be awesome. So I'm looking forward to seeing you in just a couple of weeks as well down here in Boca. So have you been to Boca
Likewise.
before?
No, but what's funny is some of my investors are already in a retriever out of Boca, so I'm trying to meet with them the day before
Love
I
it.
come in for your important dinner. So no, I've been near there, but not in Boca.
I'm looking forward to seeing you, man, in just a few weeks. It's going to be awesome. Thanks for spending this time with me. I wanted to hear more about Retriever and what you're doing, because I know it's awesome. So thank you. Thanks for sharing with us. And dude, wish you the best of luck. And we're going to do another one real soon.